Hey, what's up, guys? Man, this is how we're feeling. Dark room, snuggled up on a pretty not too cold of a day today. But let's talk about the Valiant. That's not why we're here, right? And let's talk about the Valiant team builder bundles. So this one's a hard pill to swallow. At least personally, for me, it's two reasons why. First one is the price tag. Yes, it's $50, but ideally, the way I see it is if you're picking this up, the sweet spot is maybe 100, or if you can, max it out at 200. So that's kind of like ideal when it comes to picking this up. But that's the thing. Spending $200 on a Friday just because the offer was presented does seem kind of heavy on the cost. And typical, what we've seen in the future, in the past, is that when there's an event happening, they require us or make it enticing to spend between $200 up to even $800 on events. And I think there's one coming soon. So because of that, spending $200 now feels kind of like, oh, okay, well, what am I going to spend if the event does happen? Usually those are a little bit more enticing. So that's kind of like the situation there, right? That's number one reason, the price tag. And the second reason is the game hasn't been at its best in the last couple of weeks, this entire month of January, to be honest. And it sucks because we came out of November and December, which were amazing. November was a great month for the game. December kind of closed it out with the banquet event with the 10-year anniversary, buffed up new 7-star champions of old champions that were introduced. And we've been having a lot of fun ranking those champions up, still figuring out who gets all the way to rank 3. And then for those that participated in the banquet, that was huge for them. Obviously it was a lot expensive, but they got rank 4s, they got to open Titan crystals. Like, we were able to open a lot of crystals, chasing a lot of champions, and a lot of rank up resources we're giving out too. So all of that combined, and also the Deathless challenges, Karina's challenge, like everything that composed of November and December were amazing. Content-wise, what is at its highest, and I enjoyed it. But we came into January, and it's like total failure. It's like day and night completely. So here's the thing. Kabam has a history of having issues like these in the past. We've seen it in the past where they've had incidents where they're just like, they drop it. Whoever's in charge of checking or performing these checks just drops the ball, and we're stuck with a big issue for weeks until an update comes out, until they can push an update out. So that's kind of what we've been stuck in for the last couple of weeks right now in January. So here's the thing. Do you support the business, the company financially, again, especially if you spent a lot of money in December and November, and then just cross your fingers that, hey, they can maintain this video game and game running somewhat smoothly, in the background as we get new challenges, new champions, and stuff like that. Or do you just kind of step back and just like, no, I'll spend when you get your stuff together, when the checks are being cleared to make sure that everything is performing properly, then I'll financially support the business again, because ideally that's what this is. Even though I call it a game, we all call it a game, it's a hobby. It's I always say it, and I'm sorry I keep saying it, but yeah, it's a business. And so do you support it or not? That's the ultimate question. That's the biggest question that I'm asking myself here when it comes to this deal. So, I don't know. We'll see. Glad we got like at least 4 days to think about it when it comes to the deals. But let's break it down. Let's see what we're getting. Or, for, like I said earlier, for $100, I think that's the sweet spot. And when it comes to the deal, so if you were to pick this up twice, I feel like, at least for me, it feels more reasonable than $200, half of that. But you're getting basically 3 fully formed catalyst, T4 catalyst, which are huge for the requirement for ranking up champions. We just, if you were part of the Valiant teams and you were able to pick up that 10 unit deal, you should be sitting on a huge amount of catalyst ready to go for rank 3 champions, and also to sell for a T4 catalyst. But here we're getting it for cash. So you might be a little bit unbalanced, because that's kind of what I found myself. Let me show you really quick. Especially in my rank 2s to rank 3s, I find myself here. Let me show you one that I've been considering. Like, I don't have enough catalyst. I know it's just one, and I can get that from elsewhere, but I literally focused on tech just to even build that 5th catalyst. It's taking me a couple of days, weeks. But here we have the mutant situation where we're sitting very light, and I think the science is in the same boat, and then again, it has to do with, I've taken some of these champions. So I've taken recently some new rank 3 champions, Infamous Iron Man, Silver Surfer, Shathra have all been like recent rank 3s for me. It's Medusa, we got Deadpool, She-Hulk, Thanos, like Scream. There's been Sentinel. There's been a ton of rank 3s that I've been able to get in the last couple of weeks. Again, within November and December because of the celebrations. But that's brought a issue, which is great, because Bam knows the concern that I'm missing is these class catalysts, and those are being built into the deal. So ends up giving me some options to focus on the direction of my next rank ups, and that's kind of what I needed, right? But am I gonna drop the $50 or $100 or $200? I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. My personal thoughts on yes or no, I don't know. I gotta get over the idea of like what I just discussed. Like, do I support the fact that the game is not functioning the way I personally would require it to, especially when it's asking for $200 and in a period of a month. I'm not just the only one spending $200. There's like thousands of players spending a lot of money in the game. So, when you add all that up, they're getting hundreds of thousands of dollars or close to $100,000 maybe on just a Friday because of the deal. So that's the thing. It was like, I don't know if anybody else is thinking the same way as I am when it comes to these deals. Do you even put too much thought into it, or do you just say, hey, I know it is what it is. It's broken, not broken. I still enjoy it. So I am going to buy it because this helps me get my next rank 3s, or it gets me my next rank 4. Especially if you got really good RNG, or you went pretty big on the banquet event, you should maybe have enough catalyst to do a rank 4 or a second rank 4. Like, who knows? This is a little, everybody's inside this race, but everybody's in different places, so it really, it's not, we can't say everybody's in the same spot, but you might have no fragments at all because you didn't participate, or you might have like something like me at 35,000, kind of like 1.5, so this would give me either 5% or 20% of another T7 catalyst to be able to get closer to that rank 4. And that's the question too. Who's my rank 4? I have no idea. Like, who's my next rank 4? But the deal is interesting. The deal is, if the game was perfect and it was smooth, I don't want to say like there was no issues, but at least a lot smoother than what it has been. The removal of the sigil, the compensation that was not even a compensation for removing the sigil, because we haven't been able to do the arenas. It just takes so long now to do the arenas. It's like painstakingly long, because we've been spoiled to doing it with the express mode. Just sucks, and we still haven't heard any like, accountability of like, yes, we know, we won't be doing because of this again. And I at least that's like what I would expect from a professional business to be like, hey, we figured it out. We shouldn't run into this problem again. Blah, 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 whatever it was, so, but I haven't heard any of that. They kind of been radio silent on everything, and then they just say, give me money, So I don't know. I just, to me, it's really hard to wrap my head around it. And I don't know if I'm the only one thinking this way, or you might just be like, like I said, I don't care, just pick it up, But other than that, guys, it is a good deal. I think, especially when it comes to the T4 fragments we're getting, that's a large amount of fragments. I mean, and this is a good foundation for what we expect or what other deals we're going to be seeing in the future. So let me know your thoughts on this one. I think we've talked long enough, at least from my dilemmas, my situations, and overall kind of like just covering the builder bundles. Interesting, yeah, it's pretty expensive again, but just interesting. So I don't know. I'm gonna think about this, and I'll let you guys know maybe in a post if I do end up picking it up, and who I would say this: if you pick this one up, if you're spending 50 or even 100, I would say this would be one of those situations where I use the catalyst to not just sit in inventory, which I typically do. Okay, I know I do that, but when I'm spending money for specific items, I kind of like to use them and get the usage out of them, because I wouldn't want to just spend the money to just let it sit there. That because the value of resources in the game drops a ton as soon as you just let it sit there, so you want to get used, and ideally it should have some benefit. So I got to sit there, look at my champions, figure out who's going to be my rank up from 2 to 3, and then who I am, what catalyst I need. Does it give me enough catalyst to do that rank up? Do I enjoy playing that champion? Is it going to provide me some benefits, defensive, offensive? I don't have the 2 latest new champions, so I didn't chase for the 2 new champions that came out this month. We don't have that. So Okoye looks fabulous, though, I got to say. So is Gentle, but I would say Okoye wins it this month for the best champion for January. But yeah, I can't rank these champions up because I don't have them. So it's going to be something that I currently have. So I got to really sit there and look whether I do or not, and then get past that like mindset that I personally have over like supporting businesses and my own hobby, on something that I feel is not running or being managed properly. So take care, guys. See you guys on the next one. Peace.